All right, hey there, everybody. It's RevKev here. Pray you are having an amazing day today. Kind of hate having the headphones on because it just sounds all echoey in my head. But yeah, it's good to be here with you for a lunchtime with RevKev, and hope you're all having a great week. And yeah, I'm just kind of getting a couple things opened up here at the same time. I've just finished microwaving my lunch. I am having some beef stew for lunch today. Good stuff, not homemade, from a can, but it's good stuff. On what is it today? What's the date today? Today's the 10th. 10 days of eating healthy. 10 days of eating healthy, 10 days of going to the gym, 10 days of playing my guitar, and down a number of pounds and feeling good and feeling hungry. That's the drawback of eating healthy is yes, feel a little hungry for the first few days of this. So I'm really excited. I've got my got a guest lined up for today. I'm going to bring him on. If you're a part of kind of the Star Wars fandom online, you know this guy. You've seen him in a lot of other streams. So this is Stig Kenobi is going to join me today, and we're going to talk. Going to talk faith and pop culture. And I'm gonna just 1 second. Bring you on now. Already started. Boop. There we go. And again, so let's go here. Hey, hopefully you can hear me, Stig.
Yeah, can even see you.
Perfect. Well,
yeah.
It's great to connect with you this way. I really appreciate it.
Likewise.
Yeah, I think I am going to put my glasses on. This is this new thing, glasses for me, and I hate it.
I had to use them when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
But my eyes adjusted with age, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, one of the lucky ones who went the opposite direction, I guess.
I probably need them now, though.
Yeah. So. Well, it actually literally, like I've had these reading glasses for a while, just when I'm working on the computer a lot. But it seems like everything started getting blurry over the Christmas holidays. So I think I'm due to.
Could be all the food, though.
It could be all the food. That's possible. Yeah. Maybe all the junk food I eat over the holidays had a negative effect.
Yeah, that Christmas can be brutal.
That it can. So did you make any New Year's resolutions this year?
Probably the same 10 I've made for the last 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would those be?
Eat healthier, exercise more.
Right. Yeah, I'm on day 10 of eating healthier. And drives the rest of my family crazy, because if I just change some basic stuff in my diet, I will drop 10 pounds in a week. And it massively discourages everybody else, because I'm the only one who seems to have that metabolism.
Yeah, I can't even eat a Snickers bar without putting on 20 pounds. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty awesome. So we touched base a little bit, kind of through Twitter, and we were kind of talking about this whole faith in pop culture topic. So I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about. I'm trying to do this new thing on my channel of just doing kind of these regular lunchtime, once a week streams. And I get a lot of different times, different people and different questions and things like that I address. And I made a change on my channel this past year to really be focused, like unapologetically, like, look, I mean, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian, I'm a, leader in different kind of aspects in the Christian community. And I mean, and I love popular culture and I love geek culture. So why not just speak to it from my perspective? And what I've really enjoyed is meeting other people with radically different perspectives than my own, and just kind of comparing notes and getting to know one another and chatting that way. So I think this is a fun conversation to have.
Absolutely. That's why I'm popping on YouTube a lot too. It's just because I like talking to people.
Right.
I'm not even a YouTuber myself, but I seem to pop on anyway.
Yeah, well, it was funny that I kind of noticed that. I mean, that's how I kind of saw you and got to know you a little bit, was more from a whole bunch of other different people's streams. Like, oh, this guy's awesome. One, he's hilarious. And two, he's into all the exact same stuff I'm into.
Yeah.
And that's, I was like, I'm going to start following this guy. And then I was like, he doesn't have anything.
No, I don't. I just, people ask me to come on and I don't say no. So.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, maybe just for the sake of, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone who follows on my channel knows who you are, but maybe, I don't know, you want to just kind of introduce yourself to everybody and then we'll kind of jump into a couple of things.
Yeah. Steve Kenobi, just a regular guy from Norway. Not nothing fancy at all. Just an average guy with nerdy leanings.
Nice. Yep. Yeah, well, I definitely love following you on Twitter and kind of seeing all of your EU stuff and all your vintage video games and all that stuff. It's when I sit there, I go, oh, I used to have that. Oh, I used to play that.
Yeah, those posts seem to get a lot of likes and stuff and comments.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to do that every time I read an EU book or play an EU game or something. I'm going to do one of those little mini reviews that I do.
Very cool.
And try to limit my Lucasfilm Disney rants even more.
Yep.
Which is difficult.
I hear you. It is very difficult. I was kind of thinking the same thing because, yeah, now that Rise of Skywalker is kind of done and behind us, it's like, yeah, I want to move on to the stuff that I love about Star Wars and just kind of ignore everything that I hate about it right now.
Yeah, I've been avoiding being on those streams where they talk about the news, the pop culture news.
Right.
Because I was already burned out this summer because of Captain Marvel. People wouldn't stop talking about it. And now it's the Rise of Skywalker, right?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I'd rather spend 100 hours talking about something I like.
For sure. Yeah. So how many of the EU books for Star Wars do you have?
I think I'm at about 75% now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I've been finding them on eBay.
Amazing.
And I've been buying those. It's called Star Wars Epic Legendary Collections. It's like these omnibuses with old comics.
Okay, yeah.
There's about 20 to 40 comics per omnibus. So you can get all of the old EU stuff in there. Even the old Marvel comics from the 80s.
Really?
They're a bit expensive though, but
okay. And does it have the old like newspaper strips too? I remember the Marvel.
I think that's a separate omnibus actually, because those strips are in one of those collections.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't a huge EU guy. Like I read a bunch of them and I would kind of get into them sporadically. More just because I wasn't a huge reader at the time. And so I had quite a large collection. I had probably about 30, 40 books. And then I lost all of them in a basement flood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good. I absolutely know the feeling.
Yeah.
I lost about 30 original old PC game boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom decided to clean the attic and burn them.
Oh no.
Yeah. And looking at it, eBay, she probably burned games that are worth $3,000 or $4,000 now.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. But
when my grandparents had passed away, I remember my dad was going through the house looking for all of his old Amazing Spider-Man #1 and Fantastic Four #1. And Grandma and Grandpa cleared that stuff out. It probably just threw it all in the trash.
I read that, George Martin, who writes the Game of Thrones,
Okay.
He has a fan letter in Fantastic Four issue number 4.
Really?
He wrote them as a fan, I think.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
That is, yeah. Yeah, I had all the original Marvel comics as well. In the was 107 issues of the series. I was missing only 3 of them, and lost all that in the flood as well. So
I had a bunch of them when I was a kid because they
yeah.
were translated to Norwegian, right?
Okay.
So
Right.
I had like 3 or 4 crates of them,
Okay. Yeah.
big boxes. But
Yeah.
actually, I think my mom burned them too.
Got to do something to keep the house warm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just started doing that, kind of going to like the thrift stores and used bookstores. Said I'm gonna start rebuilding this collection, and I've started buying them and I want them without the Legends label.
Yeah, it's so much fun though to go to thrift stores and all that because you can find some real treasures.
Right. Yeah, I just picked up one last night. I think it was the very last series that they did before the whole turnover happened. Yeah, it takes place some like 45 years after Return of the Jedi. I can't remember the name of the series now, but it was
Fate of the Jedi, probably.
That's the one. Yeah, Fate of the Jedi. So it was. I think the title was Allies. So it's like book 5. So I'm like, I wish they would have had book 1, but oh well.
That series is really good, but you should read Legacy of the Force first,
right?
Because it sets it up.
Yeah, that's the one with the like those guys from the other galaxy, right?
No, that's the New Jedi Order.
Oh, okay.
But Legacy of the Force is about mainly about the Solo twins.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'd have to pick up. Like I've been actually rereading the Thrawn trilogy right now. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the second book of that, and that one I read when it first came out. I was like, yeah, this is bringing back some good memories. I like this one.
Yeah, it feels like a George Lucas Star Wars trilogy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, really like that a lot. Cool. Well, I thought, it was kind of funny. I was actually just going through a whole list of these different kind of faith-based movies and stuff like that. And it's funny in my role as a pastor and as a kind of leader, I get asked questions all the time about pop culture and movie and, hey, is this movie appropriate for my family? And it's kind of funny that people ask me that stuff. It's a privilege that people value my opinion, but I'm always trying to get them to kind of research this yourself and check it out yourself. Because when people come and ask me about particularly like the whole faith-based Christian film market, and they ask me about these movies, like I actually hate them. Like, I think they're terrible. So I find it a fascinating topic to look at how different movies and different, pop culture mediums show faith, whether that's a Christian faith or something else. It's seems to be hit and miss a lot of the times.
Yeah, it has changed. I've noticed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That if you see a Christian in a movie, he's either crazy or dumb.
Yep.
Right? That's the way it is. Unless he's hunting vampires. Then he's competent.
True enough, yes. But then even that version of a Christian, they're usually, probably not the most book accurate depiction of them either.
Yeah, and I'm an atheist, and even I've noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely is a thing. It's
right.
Why is it wrong to have a hero that happens to be a Christian, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting with I haven't watched. I don't know if you've watched this. I didn't watch any of the Daredevil on Netflix shows. More just because when I'm at home with my family, we have very limited TV time, and we always have to pick something all together. And I always get outvoted on that one. But one of the things I actually liked about Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie was I was like, they actually showed his faith in a very positive way for a superhero movie.
They do that in the Netflix series too. It's in the
Do they?
background though, but he's absolutely a Catholic.
Right.
Um, oh, another Catholic though, Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think of that one.
he's had some new movies lately. Very
Okay.
good ones.
Yeah.
Both the Creed movies are fantastic.
Yeah, I still haven't seen those ones either.
You'll love the second one. It has Ivan Drago in it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I loved the Rocky movies growing up. They were amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I every time I watched them, I wanted to beat people up.
That's right.
I didn't though, but
There you go. Well, that's good.
yeah,
At least you didn't do that.
they made me think I could.
Right. Yeah.
The whole school.
Well, and that was the thing. We used to watch these movies as a kid. I was reminiscing when the Karate Kid came out, and we used to just kick the snot out of each other after
Did you
movies
do
like that.
that? Did you do that finishing move?
We all attempted it,
Yeah.
and a few of us ended up in the hospital attempting it because we fell on our backs and knocked our head on the concrete and just dust ourselves off and go home.
Healthy childhood.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing I've noticed. Like again, because I get all these news articles. Again, when you see the controversy when people try to use faith in pop culture, and like right now, I'm getting a lot of stuff on basically there's a Netflix show that came out recently where Jesus is in it and portrayed as being a gay man and being in a gay relationship. So obviously that just triggers everybody on all sides of the conversation.
I don't see the point why they would do that though. It's like they just want to piss people off, right?
Well, it's poking the bear for poking the bear's sake, I think.
Yeah.
One, you're definitely going to generate a lot of publicity. You're going to get a lot of people who will check it out and watch it just because of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Jesus was a straight man.
That's the implication. Yeah. So, well, and that's where, like, I remember, like, years ago, what was the other movie? The Last Temptation of Christ. I was actually an atheist growing up myself, and I only came to faith as an adult, like in my late 20s. So I actually saw The Last Temptation of Christ only because all the Christians were getting so upset about it.
Yeah, I remember that. Didn't it portray it as it was in the Bible though?
Well, what they did is they started off, so it was kind of the crucifixion story, and then Satan shows up while Christ is hanging on the cross and basically says, "You're not the Messiah. Come down. You don't need to do this." So he comes off the cross and then lives just a normal Hebrew life. Like he gets married, he has children, the world continues, but then, evil just gets stronger and stronger and stronger in the world. And then he realizes that this was a temptation, it was a lie, and he wakes up back on the cross. So it's similar to the narrative of just Jesus being tempted in the wilderness when the devil comes and tempts him. So it's not. So it was accurate in the biblical, but then it added a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, as a guy who had, I had a bit of a church background growing up, but I didn't have a strong faith, or I didn't know anything, and I was like, this movie is flipping awesome.
Yeah, I seem to remember it was very bloody.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of half expecting the orcs to charge Jerusalem at one point, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. It's very violent, very bloody, and just kind of showed, that's, Roman occupation was very bloody and very messy. So
yeah, and the Bible absolutely is rated R.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Just last Sunday, I was preaching a sermon, and I'm talking about one story, and then the very next paragraph is like when we teach our Sunday school lessons to children, we write all these little cute songs about chapter 1, and then we just skip over chapter 2. There's no cute little Sunday school songs for the children on chapter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I don't know. I'm just curious, like some of the thoughts that you have, like when you see these portrayals, like what is, again, kind of as a, an atheist and, and kind of with your belief system, how do you respond to that? What does that make you think?
I think it's getting old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because no matter what faith faith you follow, you're still a human being, and that goes for everyone. So Christians are diverse too. They're
Right.
individuals, and they don't seem to get that.
Right.
It's usually a pile of angry Christians in movies, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you find there's a contrast between the Christian faith and like other faiths? Do you notice a difference on kind of the portrayal?
I guess in a way, back in the 80s and 90s, I suppose, the Muslims were portrayed poorly in every movie.
Right.
Now it's kind of flipped.
Yeah.
So that it's Christians getting the stick, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like I remember a lot of the action movies that came out in the 90s. See, like the bad guys were always Middle Eastern.
Yeah. From some Middle Eastern country that didn't exist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because you didn't want to offend anyone too directly, but it was implied.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yeah, and that is one of the things I again, I'm not the type, I don't get offended by this stuff. I'm not, one of these guys who got to take to social media and Twitter and all that stuff and start blasting kind of poor portrayals of, the faith and things like that. But there is a part of it, like you said, it is getting old.
Yeah, it is. It shows a lack of creativity.
Yeah. And even just some, basic research as well too.
Yeah. It's almost like, if you've seen that movie, The Mist.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a Stephen King movie. It's a bunch of people trapped in a...
Oh, okay. Yes.
In a supermarket, and there's monsters outside in the mist.
Right.
The only one who snaps is the Christian lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she pretty much builds a cult inside the supermarket and starts doing human sacrifices almost.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Not a good representation, that one.
Absolutely. Yeah. When did that movie come out?
2000 something. Has Thomas Jane in it. It was very, very good.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailers for that too. Like, again, in those late 90s, early 2000s, it seemed like there were a lot of these faith-based type horror action flicks. I remember, like, there was another one that was very similar. People trapped in a kind of a store. Was it Legion?
Yes.
And there were all these like demons or converted like demonic angels or something like that were attacking this town.
Yeah, I think the angels were the villains because they wanted to finish off the planet.
That's right. Yeah.
The planet had failed or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of another wrath of God, flood, destroy everything kind of theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at Twitter, they were probably right.
Exactly. Absolutely. What was the big one? I remember getting a lot of emails and a lot of people emailing me when Russell Crowe's Noah came out.
Oh yeah.
Again, I actually love that movie. Massively not accurate, but dang, was that a good film.
I haven't seen that one, but the Noah story was always one of those stories I had, well, not problems with, but I considered it kind of a plot hole.
Sure. Right.
Because once they got off the boat, what did the carnivores eat, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, and what's interesting is there are lines in there where before the flood, and this is up to some people's interpretation, is that everything was still vegetarian. And then it's kind of at that moment when it's like, now you have permission to go and eat meat. But But what I thought the neat twist was what they did with that movie is that Noah thought God's wrath was to wipe out all of humanity and that his mission was to save the animals.
Yeah.
So it had a little bit of social justice kind of, people suck, animals are great kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, that's that message has lingered.
Exactly. Like the world would be a better place if humanity didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so that's what he thought his message was more, I got to keep my family alive just to save all the animals. And then once they, land, then humanity's just going to die out with them. And then his daughter-in-law, turns out she's pregnant, and then he's got to wrestle with this fact that humanity's actually going to continue, and he thinks he needs to end it, but he doesn't have the guts to do it, and he feels like he's a failure to God. And I was like, dude, this is some good stuff.
Yeah, it's actually a very good dilemma. Do you kill the baby and defy your God, or do you let the baby live?
Yeah. And
it's a very, very good dilemma.
And it was, he hears from God, but he's not sure what God is saying. Which, again, I kind of love that idea. Because, how often do, even me as, in my faith going, well, I think God wants me to, but I'm not going to be the guy who's going to stand up in front of several hundred people and say, the Lord has truly said.
Yeah.
And be that guy either. So.
Yeah. Best be a bit quiet, usually.
Exactly. It's like, I could be wrong, but I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I don't know if you guys get these things like down in your neck of the woods, but like just the huge increase in kind of these faith-based films coming out of the US.
Not really. It's well, we do make our own movies, but we do get movies from all over Europe and the United States.
Okay.
So we're kind of getting them from all over the place. But mostly in cinemas, it's either Norwegian movies, which suck.
Okay.
Or pop culture Hollywood movies, which mostly also suck.
Yeah, lately for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and sorry, go ahead.
I miss the days where I could go to a video store and rent a VHS.
Yeah.
And you had no idea if the movie was good or not.
That's right.
You just had to pick the one with a cool cover.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And slap your $4 down and hope it's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then your friends would attack you if you had picked a poor movie.
That's right.
And rightfully so.
Yep. Well, and it's actually interesting because I was actually just talking about this with I have 2 teenagers. My kids they're 18 and 16, and they miss going to the video store. Because
it was kind of like an event.
It was a family event. We would all get in the car. We'd all run around the store trying to find what we wanted to watch, figure out what junk food we wanted to buy. And
I was talking to Mad Squirrel, the YouTuber.
Okay, yeah.
About nostalgia and how it's different growing up today than it was when we grew up.
Right.
And it struck me that the living room is dead.
Yeah.
Families don't use the living room together anymore. They're all sitting in separate rooms watching Netflix on their phones.
Yeah. That's not wrong. That definitely describes my house.
Yeah, because when I grew up, well, not every weekend, the whole family would gather in the living room and watch shows on TV, or maybe mom would make a homemade pizza or something.
Right.
Maybe if we were lucky, they would rent a movie, right?
That's right. Oh yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember once, man, I was pretty young when my dad came home with in this big giant suitcase. He brought home a VCR that he rented for the weekend. And we had Star Wars: A New Hope. I think the first Terminator movie? And there was a third one. I can't remember what that one was. We just watched them on repeat all weekend long.
Yeah, we used to do that too, because if you rented it, you wanted the most value for your buck, right? So
Exactly.
if you had that movie for 2 days, you'd better watch it for a
That's
lot of
it.
times.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like exactly what you said though. That whole living room, like now, like my wife and I will be in one room. My son's in another room. My daughter's in another room. We have a granny suite in our house. My mother-in-law lives with us. She's in another room. Everyone's watching what they watch and streaming what they watch. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it struck me though that I have so many fond childhood memories. I was lucky; I had a great childhood.
Right.
But if you look at kids today, do you think they'll when they're 50 they'll look back and go, "Hey, remember that time when I sat in the room and watched Netflix on the phone?"
Right.
There's nothing memorable about it.
It's true. That's very true. But even going to the movie theater, I found like so I brought my kids. We went to go see the Rise of Skywalker together, and they wanted to go on opening night because that has been our tradition for these big type of movies ever since they were little. We always had these big family events, but we used to show up 2-3 hours early, get in line, buy dinner, eat dinner in line. It was this big event. Now we go online, pick our tickets, show up 10 minutes after the trailers have started.
Yeah, that has actually been a thing in Norway for probably 15 years. You can order the tickets online and pick your seat. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's pretty new here in Canada. Maybe the last 5 years. Yeah.
It's all in all that's a good thing though. You
Yeah.
can actually, because if you're there early, you can pick your seat anyway, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So it's the same thing. You just don't have to stand there for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was also part of the event. I found, like, remember my buddies and I, man, I remember when we were in line to go see Revenge of the Sith, and yeah, me and all my buddies just
That one was
sitting outside.
that one was amazing in the cinema,
Yeah.
especially the opening scene with the space battle above Coruscant.
Oh, absolutely.
Just I got a tingle in my stomach and just felt almost like vertigo, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, when they're just kind of flying, then it just pans down, and you see the whole battle behind, underneath.
Yeah, yeah, it was so well done.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, I love that whole opening sequence.
Ever watch a Cliffhanger in the cinema with Stallone?
The Stallone movie?
Yeah.
I'm sure I did. I just don't remember it.
That one was amazing because of all the steep drops and stuff.
Okay, right.
Camera just flies over the edge, and then you see this massive drop.
Right.
And you see Stallone dangling there, and it looked real.
Yeah. Yeah. And wasn't most of that, like, I mean, that was still in the day where most of those stunts were real stunts.
Yeah.
Right. There was no CGI or anything in there.
They filmed it in the Rocky Mountains, I think, so it was cold as well.
Right. Yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Like, I'm looking at the list of movies that are coming out this year, and I'm like, okay, nothing's piquing my interest all that much. So we'll spend more time watching some older stuff. And
the only one I've noticed that I kind of want to watch is the new Ghostbusters.
That trailer looked amazing.
Yeah, it did.
It really did. Yeah,
I'm not sure if I got the Ghostbusters vibe from it, but I certainly wanted to watch it.
Right. Yes. Yeah, but I was actually trying to flash back, and I meant to Google it or YouTube it. I never did, but just go back and find the original trailer for Ghostbusters, because I did remember it feeling more scary in its advertising than it actually was. But I could be wrong.
Never seen the original trailer for that one.
Yeah, because those were back in the days when I was a kid. I used to have my own paper route, so I had my own money. I never had to ask my parents for money. So I just saw a movie every weekend. And so I think Ghostbusters was one of those, is this going to be scary? And then went and laughed my head off for the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember we used to borrow VHS movies from each other, all the
Oh yeah,
friends.
yeah,
And if someone had two VCRs, he could copy movies,
that's right. Yep,
which my uncle did. And they didn't think it was anything wrong because you could do it with cassette tapes, right? Or
absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I remember the very first movie I ever dubbed that way was Howard the Duck.
oh, that
and,
one, yeah.
and I was so excited and happy that I owned my own copy of Howard the Duck. It was my favorite movie at the time.
I think the first movie I bought was a Bond movie. I think it was Thunderball.
Okay. On
Sean
VHS?
Connery. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the first one I bought. The second one I think was Rocky 3.
Right.
And a friend of mine he liked that movie so much because he watched it with me.
Okay.
And he kept riding his bike for 30 minutes to get to my place to borrow it.
Right.
At least a couple of times a month. And so he watched it till the tape got ruined, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm trying to do now. Like, again, with, my kids being a little bit older, and I'm trying to grab all these older films now that I grew up on, that I loved. And I'm trying to get them. I have to convince them to trust me. It's like, okay, it's going to be dated. It's going to look a little dated. But just trust me on this one. Give this one a shot. So we've been, going through things like Willow. I've convinced my daughter to watch Galaxy Quest with me. We haven't watched it yet, but she's open to it.
I've noticed a lot of the youngsters actually do like the 80s movies.
Yeah.
Once they give them a chance, they really like them.
They do, yes.
Because I've been watching, I've been educating my kid
Yeah.
in the 80s action.
Oh, okay.
So whenever he's visiting, he wants to watch movies, and we keep watching stuff he hasn't watched before.
Right. Yeah.
Last time we watched, what was it? Cobra.
Okay.
Conan the Barbarian.
Wow.
What else? Rambo 2.
Uh-huh.
And some Dirty Harry.
Okay.
He had a blast.
That's like the good 80s action stuff right there.
Yeah. Picture getting to watch that for the first time again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
I would see they're being jealous.
Right. Well, and especially with some of the franchises that exist now, like that are garbage, like Aliens and Predator, like, that were just so amazing in the 80s. Like my son and I, we watched Terminator 1, Terminator 2 this summer, and he loved it. We watched Aliens together. He loved that.
That one is pretty much a perfect movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We watched the first Matrix. So yeah, like exactly you said, it's kind of cool to kind of relive those moments. But now them going, oh, the Terminator movies suck. I don't want to watch Terminator. It's like, no. I don't mean these Terminator movies. I mean this Terminator movie.
Yeah. The reason why they tried to make sequels.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Oh, there's an elf lady in the chat.
Yes. Yeah. We got a few people there joining in and watching. It's been cool.
My favorite elf.
Favorite elf. That's it. Yeah. And I've been trying. I don't do a lot of these live streams, and so I'm still getting used to how all of this stuff works. And people keep saying, "Oh, you got to do this more often," and I'm like, I'll jump into some from time to time, and maybe, but I'm not going to start getting into this every day.
The hours add up.
They do.
I've seen people who have done live streams for 10 hours without a topic.
Right.
They just sit there.
Yep.
And
yeah.
Why?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't do that. I have to.
No, exactly. I had some younger guys that I kind of mentor a little bit. They're like, "Oh, you should live stream your sermon prep and how you go about writing and how you prepare your talks every week. And I'm like, really? Like, there's no interest to watch that. Trust me. Like, it's like me just going through books and reading books and, beating my head on a desk and trying to figure out what I'm going to say. Yeah, no one's interested in watching that. So
how many sermons have you done all in all?
In my life?
Yeah.
Actually, the series that I'm doing right now at this church, so I've been at this church, it's coming up on 10 years. This is my 85th series. So a series could have anywhere between 3 to a dozen messages. So I think I did the math recently. I've probably preached about 500 sermons.
So you take messages and then put stories around them?
So what I'll do is I'll start from a text, whether I'm going through a book of the Bible. Like sometimes I'll pick a book of the Bible and we'll just go through it verse by verse, beginning to end. And kind of, what did it mean then and what does it mean for us today? And then other times I'll do something that's more topical. It's like, hey, let's do a series on, how to have a new teenager by Friday. Type of thing, and then you pick different texts to highlight that. So it's funny. I've got a friend of mine who works for the government, and he worked for one of the politicians that does script writing, so we were kind of comparing notes on what we do. And so he goes, so he's got a team of like a dozen people, to work on kind of a 15-minute talk for the politician. And then they give that same talk all across the country while they're campaigning. And I said, oh, that's awesome. I'm by myself and I got to prepare a 45-minute talk every week.
Yeah.
And he's like,
do you find it more difficult now than it used to be? If you're running out of topics?
No, because part of it is life is a topic. And the world we live in today it's fascinating. I'm actually really fascinated by the world we live in today. Like even just how incredibly polarized the world seems to be in certain areas, the division between people, but then you also find these pockets of this incredible unity as well. And so I just find life in the world fascinating. So when I read these things and I'm prepping these things, like it changes. Like I can take a text, something that I preached on 15 years ago, and then it's completely new and fresh today because the world is different and I'm different today.
Yeah, I think social media changed everything.
It really did.
It was designed for people to connect.
Yep.
And all that, but within a few years, it turned into a megaphone for the crazies.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yep. The intent was good. It was kind of like the guy who invented gunpowder, right?
Right. Yep.
You can blow up mountains and make
this is good stuff.
And then all of a sudden, you can do this with it too, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with it too. And even the best of intentions. I mean, I've been definitely accused of being one of the crazies.
Oh, that happens to me too.
It's like
sometimes they're right.
Exactly, and they're not wrong in my case as well. It's like, yeah, you're right. On this one, I'm a little crazy, so that's okay.
Some healthy crazy is okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, very true. Well, that's awesome. I'm sitting here. I've been talking a lot, and I didn't even eat my lunch, so I'm gonna have to microwave that again after we're done. So,
I've actually eaten my lunch.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, sneaky about it.
Yeah, no, I have some beef stew here. It's been, been nursing this beef stew. So
the trick was to ask you a question and then eat fast while you were
exactly. That's it. So as I'll do more of these over time, I'll get a little bit more strategic and actually jot some questions down and be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah, just you could do like hey, talk about Star Wars for a bit. I need to eat this pork chop.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. What did you think about The Rise of Skywalker? And go. And then I got 20 minutes of just free time to work on something else.
Can you elaborate? I still have half a sandwich.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's, I do find this, I mean, the whole, like that topic of faith in pop culture, like again, that is a fascinating part for me as well. And I do bring that a lot kind of into my life and the, in the life of our congregation, because I mean, everyone is immersed in this stuff. And and we're all watching these movies, we're all reading these books, we're all binge watching these Netflix shows. And I just find it a fascinating thing. It's like, hey, did you catch this? Hey, did you notice that? Did you notice this viewpoint? And when you see those patterns, it's a fascinating thing to study.
Yeah, it's I've noticed in the last few years, I've seen people post about if there was a character in the movie that was Christian or something, or someone, there's a trailer and there's a church in the background, people go like they get offended by it.
Right. Yeah.
That's not sane.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, so what if someone believes in God or
right,
whatever, right? It does.
Yep.
My neighbor is a Christian, my landlord.
Right. Well,
I've never experienced any harm from that.
Right. Yeah.
He's crazy for other reasons.
That's it. Well,
Yeah.
and as long as it fits the story,
Yeah.
like if it's a part of the story and it's an important part of who the character is, then absolutely. Like it's, and I think that's what drives me crazy about like the Christian faith-based films. They're just too darn preachy.
Yes, exactly. They're
like
they feel like as soon as I watch one of them, it's like almost like I feel they're trying to stuff things down my throat.
Well, exactly. And so it doesn't fit the story. It's like, okay, we got to set up just a situation so that we can tell you about Jesus and how you need Jesus. And here's how you can accept Jesus. Now do that. And then now everything at the end of the story is wonderful because you've done that. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't feel organic.
No.
It feels like, I don't know. It's like, it's a normal everyday story usually, but then there's like these huge discussions or other monologues about the Bible.
Right. Yeah.
Like big chunks in there. It was that, and they don't feel like natural conversations in those movies.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
It's like an interlude or something.
Yeah, and it does feel just too agenda driven, and so anyone that wants to complain about any other SJW kind of movement being put into their film, I think deep down, but we're all okay as long as we're pushing our agenda in a film.
Toriel is asking if you have your coffee.
Yes, I did. I just kind of showed her my mug here. I'm actually drinking tea.
So it's a mug shot.
It's a mug shot. Dun-dun-dun. Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to drink a little less coffee because I drink way too much of it.
Yeah, I've always been a tea person.
Okay.
I drink coffee, but I just never got the habit.
Okay. Is tea more common in your neck of the woods? Is that a Norwegian would be more tea than coffee?
Oh, no, absolutely coffee.
It's coffee.
Yeah, I think someone posted the coffee statistics of Norway once, and it was let's just say we're in the top 3 in the world when it comes to coffee drinking.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it all imported or is it grown there?
It's imported.
Okay.
Produced by Norwegian companies in other countries.
Okay. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Oh, we're Vikings. We just.
Well, I thought it would have been like big jugs of mead.
Yeah.
When I think Vikings, that's.
Have a barrel of mead for breakfast.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my stepfather his background is Norwegian as well, but his father, who passed away a number of years ago, basically looked exactly like Odin, like that, and yeah, Just every time we used to get together with him, it's like the big guy, 6'4", big giant white beard. It's like, okay, yeah, we're in the presence of Odin here.
Yeah.
We were very well behaved when we used to go visit there.
He wasn't missing an eye, was he?
He wasn't. That would have just made it perfect.
Yeah, a couple of pet ravens and
exactly. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I kind of wanted to try to keep this under an hour, so we're kind of hitting that, and wanted to do this over my lunch break. So really appreciate you jumping on with me today. It was great chatting.
Yeah, likewise. I had a good time.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to try to do these a little bit more often. I've had a few other people express an interest and, joining in and talking about some different topics during the daytime. So I will, I'm going to start keeping a running list together and maybe put some more invites out and see who wants to have some fun, have lunch together and chat about some fun stuff.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to talk about Captain Marvel, I'm happy.
Exactly. That's it. I'm not talking Captain Marvel. That's done. I'm not talking Star Wars. So funny. Actually, I was just finishing writing my sermon for this week, and I've got a big, huge Star Wars thing in it this week.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting it off talking about our identity and where, and every single person I speak to right now, the number one question I get is, what did you think of The Rise of Skywalker? Doesn't matter who I talk to. Doesn't matter the age. Doesn't matter the belief. Doesn't matter the ethnic group. That's the number one question I get asked by everybody I talk to, because I'm the Star Wars guy. And so everyone's curious what I thought of it. And so it's like, wow, that's a big part of your identity.
What did you think of it, though?
I hated it.
Fair enough.
Actually, let me rephrase that. The first hour and a half, I was like, I was enjoying the adventure aspect of it. But
it was kind of like National Treasure, wasn't it?
Pretty much exactly like that. Yeah. It was a bunch of clue finding. I mean, it had plot holes, and it's like, well, how come Luke couldn't find that, but you could? And how come that ship is still working, and all these problems with it? But I was trying to just enjoy it. But the whole Palpatine and everything at the end, I was like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah. The problem started when they scrapped the EU.
Yeah.
Because I saw the galaxy map after that, because they removed all the expanded universe planets.
Okay.
And they only had like 20 planets in the galaxy.
Oh, really?
On the official galaxy map. It was just, this galaxy isn't a big deal.
Right.
It's like a neighborhood.
Yeah. Where did they publish this new map?
Probably on Wikipedia or something.
Okay.
Most likely they've added to it now, though, because there've been more planets in the movies and that. But when they scrapped the EU, all they had was the stuff that was mentioned in canon, which would be the movies and the Clone Wars. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because the role-playing game that's put out by Fantasy Flight Game, they have a big, huge fold-out map of the galaxy, and it still had everything in that.
Yeah, maybe they started before the EU was scrapped.
Maybe. I seem to think even the first book had the Disney logo on it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'd have to check that out again.
Thing we can talk about people attracted to their phones.
Yeah, exactly.
sounds like a phony relationship.
That's right. Yeah, I had a fun conversation with my mother-in-law about that. Everyone's always looking at their phones. It wasn't like that when I was younger. It's like, no, you all read the newspaper.
Yeah, I hate phones. Cell phones. I hate them.
Do you?
I know they're handy and it's probably a good thing, but
yeah,
when I have friends over for gaming night or movie nights,
yeah,
they sit there watching their phones.
That's true.
And everyone has, we can't start the game yet. Just need to reply to this on Instagram or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
People are more concerned about the people that aren't in the room with them.
Very true. Yeah.
Which is very strange.
It really is. Yeah. Well, I think it's that fear of always missing out. It's like there's something better over there, something better over there, something better over there, instead of just be in the moment, enjoy the moment.
Yeah, I think I saw. I think it was Denzel Washington who said that 20 years ago, the only ones you were concerned with liking you
Yeah,
was the people in front of you and your family.
right.
Now it's 1,000 people you've never even met,
That's right. Yep.
which is
Yeah.
so strange.
Yeah. And you plan and dictate your life around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I'll never get used to that.
Yeah. Now, I do have to confess, though, I am quite addicted to mine. Working on it. But my biggest problem, it's been the whole, how just work is 24/7. So there's this, you feel like you need to be available. And I'm actually getting a lot better saying, no, I don't have to check my email every day. I don't need to have access to my text messages every day.
Yeah, I quickly realized with social media and cell phones and all that, I'm not really that important, apparently. I don't get that many mails, and
Right. Yes.
and if I get a message on my inbox on Twitter or Facebook, it's usually soccer related,
Right.
you know, or nerd related.
Right.
It's nothing that can't wait.
Absolutely. Yep.
Usually a picture of someone, hey, got a new video game, or
Right.
just a picture of it. I was like, well done.
Yeah. Cool. Can reply to that in the morning. Yeah, that's what I actually found, because what was starting to happen to me is I would have people emailing me, people texting me, like direct text messaging, then Facebook messaging me, Twitter messaging me, Instagram messaging me. I've got my cell phone, my home number, and my work number. And I was like, yeah, this is getting massively overwhelming. This is all got to be streamlined and dealt with, because
It's all the notifications. It's well, for me at least, it's a stressful noise.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like someone poking you, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so what I've even started doing now is, like, if we're watching TV or if we're playing a board game, or even if we go out for dinner, I leave the phone somewhere else. Like the phone's in a different room, or if we go out, as date night or family night or whatever, leave the phone in the car.
I was at a friend's place to watch the soccer match last year. It was me and 3 others, and someone said, hey, you got a funny video, gonna send it to your phone, right?
Right.
And I was like, no, I left my phone at home.
Okay. Yeah.
And the room went quiet.
Uh-huh.
They just looked at me as if they'd seen a ghost.
Right. Yeah.
It was like almost like shocked fear in their faces.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
But
Stig, are you okay? You don't have your phone.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like,
Yeah. Like there's something wrong with you.
Yes. Everyone just turned to look at me, and they were just, I've never seen them look so serious before, ever.
Right. Yeah.
It was just quiet. Like I did something really wrong.
Yeah. Just not conforming to everybody else at the moment, and that throws everybody off.
Yeah, it absolutely did.
Oh, too funny. Cool. Well, I'm gonna call it, and again, was great chatting.
Yeah, likewise.
And
I completely enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time and hanging out this way. It was lots of fun. And until the next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, hope so. And thank you to everyone in the chat.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, and I kind of noticed that some people, they monitor the chat a little bit better, and I don't realize how they got to learn how they do that. So,
Oh, it's in StreamYard, so you can click the where it says private chat. You
Right.
just click the live comments.
Yeah.
That brings up the comments on your on the right side.
Right. Well, that's how I figured that out. But I kind of forgot to be keeping an eye out on that too. So we'll get better at this.
I'm learning stuff from YouTubers now and again.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I got started on this, is I'm learning it because we actually use it a lot at work. And so I learn it personally, so then I can roll it out better. But awesome. Well, have yourself a great rest of your day or evening where you are now, I take it.
Yeah, it's 8 in the evening. Just going to relax and read and maybe watch a movie. And tomorrow I'll be doing that shenanigans thing with Mary.
Oh, very fun. Yeah, I like jumping in on those ones and watching those. That's always a good time.
Yeah. They can get a bit raunchy, though.
Oh, they can. And then I usually hit mute. My wife is like, "What are you listening to?" It's like, "Oh, it's just my YouTube friends."
It's that Viking. It's the guy from Norway.
Yeah, it's my YouTube friends. And she goes, "Oh, okay." And
Yeah. Just blame the Viking.
That's it. I usually just blame drunk 3PO. That's easier to do. So then,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, have yourself a nice, relaxing evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. You too.
All right. Take care. All right. Thanks again, everybody.